But if I had an opportunity to let these little young sahabs know something, take care of y'all bodies, you know what I mean? Don't take care of y'all chicken. You feel me? Don't take care of y'all mentals, because little we ain't lasting that long.
OKC, I'm a tad bit eclectic. Thoughts tangential and Tourettic. Sprinkle ADHD and my dreams become prophetic. Deaths and overdoses, suicides and wedding dresses. A curse that devolves and messes, or a gift that truly blesses. Visions of a future of successes. Yet me, none of these ladies are impressed with. Girls be thinking I'm obsessive or I'm thirsty.
How do I tell them I feel unworthy?
They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life feels like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life feels like a lie. I can write, direct, and act, can even rhyme and rap. Humble and don't see it as a big deal, why is that? I was used, abused, beaten, battered, made to sat and play by myself, yeah, it's whack. See, I grew up lonely and sad, got angry like my dad, spit venom like my mom, and grew to hate myself along the way. I never learned the social skills to play in the world, but shit was just a fad. I've finally gone full man. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life feels like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life feels like a lie. Imposter syndrome makes me mope.
Tell them.
My emotions are a kaleidoscope. When a words does that make me feel worthy yet? Nope, therapy has taught me how to cope.
Damn.
I've learned it can't be done by smoking dope,
Or
getting blackout drunk like a trope,
or
meeting women to unrobe and probe,
or
getting busy cause it makes my heart want to explode.
Damn.
I've learned you just gotta meditate when
damn.
you feeling angry and you straight hating.
Damn.
Life and your friends think you're flaking.
Damn.
If only they could know why I'm debating.
Damn.
If only women knew why I was waiting.
Tell them.
Easy for the other guys, for me frustrates, and my brain's in another dimension, translates in the pain in my heart as I write this praying. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life feels like a lie. They say the grass is always greener on the other side, but you never see it till you die. So why the hell do I try? I feel like everything I do is wrong, and that is why I spend my time trying to ride, while my life feels like a lie. If you got problems in your life, or you just feel like you need to talk to somebody, please do. It's important to take care of our mental health, because otherwise, we're crazy like the rest of the world. I hope you find peace and love.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 16 of Lights, Thunder, Action. We are live streaming directly into your homes and phones via Facebook and the HWWS WebTV channel on YouTube. My name is Thomas Carter Rochester, a.k.a. the Son of Dale.
And my name is David Thompson, a.k.a. Are we sure Christian Bale's a good Batman? Like, are we positive of that?
Thank you.
I know we've had this discussion before where you were defending Affleck, and I'm like, I disagreed at the time, but now spoilers. Well, tease for later. We're gonna be talking Batman Begins, continuing our trilogy of trilogies later on in the show. We'll get back to that in a while, but yeah, that's my little tease for now. Is Christian Bale? Was he actually a good Batman? So yeah, that's how it's going. But anyway, guys. So today on today's show, obviously, like I just said, Tournament of Trilogies. We're going to have the next set of polls up, right, Thomas?
Yes.
We had the announcement for who won the last bracket poll for the Tournament of Trilogies. So look forward to that. Later, we'll be doing Batman Begins, continuing our Trilogy of Trilogies segment. Obviously, we capped off Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 with the third one last week. Go check out those last 3 episodes if you want to check out all the Back to the Future fun we had in the second half of all those episodes, doing our Trilogy of Trilogies. Great trilogy. This one, Batman Begins, has a lot to live up to after doing Back to the Future, I got to say. But yeah, fun times. Today, on today's show, we're going to be talking about Netflix releasing their top 10 movies. And this is for the news anyway, the Bad Batch series announcement. That'll be the last piece of news we talk about today. So stay tuned for that. We are both very, very excited. Thomas, how are you doing today, man? How are you doing?
I'm great. First, before I gotta say, that right there is nothing but facts from Jasmine right there. It wasn't. Thank you, Jasmine. We're not best friends. I mean, we already were, but I'm good. It's been a really weird week.
You had a good day, man. You
had
a car.
I got a car. So bittersweet moment. I now have a new ride, a new set of wheels. Bitter because my Jeep, Old Blue. I love that car. It is my child. It is the only thing that I have in this world that I would consistently fight people over. And she had some issues on Thursday. The tranny started rattling, so I had to start looking for immediate backup. And today I bought a brand spanking new Subaru with a lifetime powertrain warranty and a bumper-to-bumper warranty, so everything is covered under warranty. I feel old now. I got grays in my hair. I got a haircut this week, guys. Like, it's been a weird week. David, how you doing, man? You just came from work.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I've started working up here in Gainesville at Target, and I'm working a lot. It's exciting, though. It's fun. It's good to be back working, kind of being more out in the world, trying to stay safe still at the same time, though. You know, everyone has to wear a mask up here. In Alawatcha County, like, it's a mandate that everyone has to wear a mask. So everyone's wearing masks. Everyone's trying to social distance. It's been fun. You know, I mean, it's been tiring, but work's going well. And I just had work shift today, work tomorrow. But, hey, I'm excited to be here. Watched Batman Begins last night. I hadn't seen it forever. It was really enjoyable to watch again with some friends. Obviously Jasmine, who said that he wasn't good. She watched like 2 minutes of the movie. But yeah, it's been going well, man. It's been going well. Happy to be here and happy for everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. As always, we're so grateful for you guys joining us as you do every week. We really appreciate all your comments and all your views and likes and shares and all of that good stuff.
All that good stuff. I see my mom's in the chat. Hey, Ma, how you doing? Jasmine, of course, is here. Terry MacGyver, the MacGyver is here. That's going to be his new nickname, by the way, MacGyver. Ben Lack, I see, is hanging out with us in the chat. Hello,
yeah,
Ben.
My friend.
Hey, Ben.
I'm in his house right now.
Right, so he gets to hear it twice. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I'm very excited. We're gonna dive right into housekeeping because I almost said
yes, sir. I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so guys, if you do not catch our live Facebook or YouTube show of Lights Thunder Action, you can always check out about 48 hours after this goes live our audio podcast version of our show every episode on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and our hosting site Spreaker. Please check that out if you can't catch the whole show or you want to just be traveling, you know, jogging, riding your bike, doing whatever you're doing, driving your car, and you can listen to us there.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay.
Social media sharing. And like I said at the top of the show, our show's live stream directly into our Lights Thunder Action Show Facebook page and the HWWS WebTV channel on YouTube. What else can you find there? Oh, you wait to the end and I will promote the hell out of the HWWS WebTV channel. And I really also wanted to say, as I did last week, thank you to the media team for the constant support across the entire network and on all social media. We're able to keep going because of the love they show us and have supported us and have helped us. Especially me, learn how to do the production side of the YouTube and the analytics and all that. Still over my head, but one day I'll learn how to jump. And again, we have some really fun stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's important because my favorite battle in the tournament of trilogies is nigh, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. So before we jump into who is next, let's go ahead and recap this past week. We had Indiana Jones versus Toy Story, and the winner by 16 votes, it looks like. Indiana Jones 34, Toy Story 18. So Indiana Jones has moved on to the next. I forgot to queue up my my audience. Damn it.
Oh, it's all right.
Indiana Jones has moved on to the next round. And as you can see, if you look to the right of the screen, we have a heavyweight matchup of Jurassic Park, a 1 seed, versus, I almost said Toy Story, versus Star Wars, the original trilogy, a 4 seed. Please note that these seedings only account for votes and being moved up from not in the battle to in the battle.
They're kind of superfluous. You don't really have to worry about them.
They
Because
are
I have
only for me.
Yeah, I've got a feeling OG Star Wars is gonna do well. I don't know though, because Jurassic Park did really, really well against Dark Knight Trilogy.
It did.
So that'll be exciting to see. Also, speaking on the results from this past week, I was kind of rooting for Toy Story just because I love that trilogy, but I'm not surprised it took the L to Indiana Jones. But I'm excited if that ends up winning. I'll be excited to watch that as well. So yeah, everyone go vote, keep it going. We're having fun.
Speaking of that vote, in 3, 2, 1, it has been shared. That poll is live and in your house.
So Jurassic Park trilogy versus OG Star Wars trilogy is live.
Yes.
All right.
One day WWE is going to get really mad at me for stealing their gimmicks. But it's ready to go right on our Facebook page. You can go vote now. You can vote after the show. It'll be live for 1 week. So at hour ahead, 6:13 Eastern Standard Time next Saturday is when the poll will close. And maybe we'll be on the air when that happens. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Everything's up in the air.
We'll find out then.
But you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually surprised Indiana Jones won. I thought the Toy Story fandom was gonna come in swinging body blows on good old Indy, but he by 16, almost doubled. I was surprised by how much he won by.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people are thinking that. I don't know. I guess there's a lot of Indiana Jones fans, like clearly, but I think the Toy Story trilogy is one of the best trilogies out there, personally, and maybe it's because we're not counting the fourth movie.
See, the fourth movie made me cry more.
In Toy Story?
Yeah. Toy Story 3 made me cry because it came out right as I was going to college. I took my nephew to see it. It was the first movie he's ever been to in the theaters.
You were in college when Toy Story 3 came out?
It came out in 2010, 10 years ago, and it came out
in elementary school.
It came out I think late July, because Inception turned 10 this week, and then it was later in the year, it was like right before I left for college, and that was August 11th of 2010. So it came out right beforehand, and I took my nephew to see it, and I cried, like not as much as Toy Story 4, but that's just because I'm a baby. I'm gonna be real. I do think Star Wars is about to mop the rest of these up. Even Indiana Jones. I don't think Indiana Jones stands a chance against Star Wars.
Yeah, and we'll find out.
I think Jurassic Park stands a slightly better chance than Indiana Jones, and
I agree.
I'm probably gonna catch some flack, but we'll see what happens. I'm secretly pulling for Indiana Jones just because I want to watch it. And I know that if I watch it now, then when we have to watch it, I won't want to watch it as much. And it'll take the fun out.
Yeah.
David, one last note. I need everyone to understand that there's a new way to watch movies at home.
Okay.
You need to, if you have an Xbox, I don't know if you can plug headsets into PlayStation and it'll play the movie.
Yeah, if you play on your controller.
Dude, that is how I have watched every movie that we've reviewed in the last 5 or 6 weeks, except for Back to the Future 2. And ironically, I notice a huge difference in how much I enjoy the film when I have the headphones on.
Really?
Yep. Turn on the noise canceling.
Yeah.
And then you're in it. And yesterday with Batman Begins, oh man, it was so enjoyable.
Yeah, I was watching it with a group last night, so I didn't do it. But if I'm watching it solo, I'm only watching on my laptop or something, so I have my headphones on anyway. And I know what you mean. It kind of like it pulls you in a little bit more, I would say. Like if you don't have some premium like speakers or anything like that, which I don't. So
Yeah.
it's like having nice headphones actually definitely helps in that case when you're just watching a movie. But yeah, I agree. That's a good point. Are we ready for everyone's favorite topic?
I'm ready for the favorite topic of everyone on the day. That was a sentence.
What the news?
All right, this week in What the News, we have a pretty loaded deck this week. First, starting out with the bang, we've been waiting for this sort of news for a long time. You've heard us, if you've seen our show week in and week out, you know we always like to bring this up probably once a show, I would imagine. It is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, which are, and just in general, the MCU's Disney Plus shows, where until now, it's been very, very quiet as to what they're doing, where we've heard delays on all their movies from Black Widow, Eternals, all those films, like Shang-Chi. We know all those films are getting pushed back, but we were hearing nothing, crickets on the Disney Plus side of the MCU until now. So the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is not a part of Disney Plus's August release schedule. So Disney Plus came out with this, before I think most streaming services do this, where before the month, during the previous month, they announce a list of all these different movies and films getting put on that streaming service for the next month. And initially, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to be in August, but now it is not on the August release schedule, which I don't think it's surprising. I am disappointed by it, and I think it's showing that the reshoots they're having to do, or just like the continuation of filming that they're having to do now, because they had to pause due to the pandemic, is substantial. I'm sure they have a lot of it edited and wrapped and finished, but I just don't think they're being. I understand where the lack of like aggression is to pump it out. Also, with the state of movie theaters and the country still, I'm getting a bit nervous about Black Widow, to be honest. That's a November release date. I mean, it's only July, so it's crazy to think. But at this point, it's hard not to. Really, it's hard not to worry. So just about this, Thomas, what did you think when you initially saw that Falcon and Winter Soldier was off the August release date? Enough said.
That was all I had. I think I sent that to you. Oh no, I sent the funny version of Thor, who was like, no, please don't cut my hair. I sent that because it's just like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either. It is still coming though. I think that's a good point to know. And so now going back to a little bit of the news that's on top of this is that WandaVision is apparently still on track to come out at the end of this year. So WandaVision was, another MCU Disney Plus show that was supposed to start coming out. It's a weekly thing on Disney Plus. I think it was supposed to start coming out the end of 2020, so the end of this year. And
December.
Apparently, it's still on track to do that. What's that?
December. Yeah,
December.
But, right. There are conflicting reports in the last 36 hours about WandaVision's schedule. In the initial report, it was Disney Plus released their schedule.
Right.
We were like,
and everyone noticed that Falcon Winter Soldier wasn't there.
Was gone. So it's like, oh, okay, it's not coming out. Then they're like, oh, there should be a new one coming out, a new release date announced soon. And in that one, it said WandaVision's still on track. And then an hour later, WandaVision, is it on track? Another couple hours later, WandaVision 2021 release date reporting. And it's like, can somebody just stop the news for a minute? I mean, we all know we're not going to trust it unless Disney Plus tells us.
Yeah, it's hard right now. And I think no one really knows. I think there's a lot of insiders that, are hearing things. And, a lot of it is just, they're just blowing smoke. I mean, even just the people that they're getting the information from, I think half the time. I think sometimes they're lied to. I mean, just from my experience seeing some of the insiders I follow on Twitter and these, these kind of blog pages, and not everything they say that's an inside scoop, and I click on the link because I get baited, is that comes true, and part of it I think might be them just kind of themselves just kind of making stuff up, or I don't know, just inferring that it'll happen, or just taking two and two and just saying that this will be how it is, but it isn't always that way. So WandaVision, while we don't know for sure if it's going to come out at the end of this year, I am more optimistic about it because it seemed like they were really far shooting, done with filming before the pandemic. and that the majority of their reshoots or the majority of their filming resumption was going to be reshoots and maybe some like touch-ups and things like that, where we don't really know the state of Falcon Winter Soldier. We kind of got the sense that it was mostly reshoots.
Well, they've been so with Falcon and Winter Soldier, they were like world hopping. They went to Prague, they went to Puerto Rico. They got shut down in Puerto Rico because of earthquakes. They got shut down in Prague because of this. They got shut down in Atlanta. I think they got shut down somewhere else. I said Atlanta, but I think they got shut down somewhere else because there was like a small injury and they had to finesse, a couple shoots on the stunt team that they had to do. So they've been shut down a couple different times. So they had a larger story, whereas WandaVision, most of it was like filmed on set, like on a soundstage on set. So they were able to crank out things on a much quicker pace.
It makes me so excited for Falcon Winter Soldier. I can't wait for the series. It's going to be really good, I think.
I'm very excited about it.
I wonder. I wonder. I was thinking about this earlier today. Why I think about these things in my free time. Well, I know why, but because I'm always thinking about them. Anyway, what I was thinking about was, what I was thinking about was, do we think that I brought this up, I think, an episode or two ago, and we kind of just like poo-pooed it, but I think there is a scenario where Black Widow has to come before Falcon and Winter Soldier. If they are truly setting up the next Black Widow, maybe that's a tie-in of some sort. Because I don't know. I'm not fully... The MCU, Kevin Feige, always like has the order for a reason. Rarely do we see... I mean, Disney Plus shows are new, right? But rarely do we see movies like flip dates. They get pushed back, they get moved back, but rarely do we see them actually like alternate the order of them, unless they have to do some serious things. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was supposed to come out this past year, and that got way pushed back because Marvel fired James Gunn for a bit and then rehired him, and he took on the Suicide Squad that's coming out next year. But that was something they're gonna have to finesse around. But I don't know. I have a suspicion that there might be a tie between because it's the MCU. They always have ties between everything. I mean, it might be different in this. I
think Falcon and Winter Soldier, if it were to tie into anything, it would be Black Widow. Because Black Widow was a very major character in the Captain America trilogy, especially Winter Soldier and Civil War, right? Huge. In fact, she's a main character in both of those films. She got better,
especially Winter Soldier.
She had better stories in both of those films than any other thing she was in, including actually, I would give her a better situation in Endgame than those two. But if you look at, if you were to watch Black Widow, if you were to nail out the main points of Black Widow's origin and story in the MCU, she helps take down Hydra.
She's good in the Avengers.
She's there in the Avengers.
But she's a main player. Yeah, you're right. But like story-wise, character development-wise,
she's got helps take down Hydra, goes deep and dark, and literally becomes the face of taking down Hydra. Chooses the side that she thinks is right, but then follows her heart and lets Cap go. That's big. And then it's sacrificing herself so that everybody can have a potential future in Endgame. That is like her big 3 arcs in the MCU. So
Russo brothers.
And it was the Russo brothers. So if we were to tie Falcon and Winter Soldier to anything, it'd be Black Widow. And like I've been saying about Black Widow, I will die on this hill. I think we're gonna get the start of a Thunderbolt situation. So
I know.
And whether or not the U.S. agent is like a good guy or a bad guy or somewhere in the middle, I don't know. I'm really hoping he's not a total dickhead. Like he's in the comic. But you never know.
I'm excited to see that dynamic between all 3 of them.
Me too. I'm excited to see what's up. Really, what's up with that? Like more than anything, I just want to know what's up with that. But I think he and other characters are going to come out of the Black Widow film because, again, that's set after Civil War, and Zemo is in this, who came from Civil War.
Yeah.
So like maybe we learn in Black Widow what happened to Zemo.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
There could be some real story tie-ins between those two films, or the film and the show, and we can't. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't know. I maybe it'll come out before Black Widow, because I mean, it seems like it might, with them being now reshooting or continuing filming, and it has to be done just before November. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Anyway, this pandemic, we're getting sick of it in the entertainment business, movie wise. Yeah.
Final thought: WandaVision. When it comes to whether or not they stagger things or some stuff can come before, like we saw what happened with Thor, right? Thor and Doctor Strange, didn't they flip situations? Like things got moved around.
Yeah,
I believe it was more than just getting pushed back. I think Thor got moved up and something else got pushed to a much later date.
Right. So that's a good point. But the
I
reason
think WandaVision is that type of situation that it and Falcon Winter Soldier can hop back and forth, is what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Just because of what they're about.
Right.
The character development stories, but WandaVision, we have no idea. It literally takes place across multiple timelines. Loki literally takes place in an alternate universe. So those two could come before Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it really wouldn't mess up anything, in my opinion. Like, they've gotten to the point of nonlinear storytelling with movies being set in the past.
Right.
So I think that is a potential for our WandaVision coming out in December. Like, maybe if Black Widow gets delayed again, then they delay Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they keep WandaVision.
That might happen.
Look at this best case scenario.
that would be good. I don't know. I want Black Widow first. I want the, in my heart of hearts, I want Feige's vision. I want the way it was supposed to be. Like, I'm sick of this stuff. It's just like, I don't need to have them shoehorn things in or like switch things around like to make it worse, or maybe it'll end up better. But yeah, with your Doctor Strange point, that's true. They did move that. That is a movie that like flipped kind of backwards, got pushed back and beyond movies. But one thing with that is that is, and with Guardians, like we were saying, how Guardians 3 is going to come out in like, whenever time. Yeah, like 2023, 24. With that's far away, right? So, but these films, I mean, Black Widow's done.
Right here.
Yeah, so that's why in my head, it's like, those could still be tweaked and moved around story-wise, because they could still change the script and change some scenes. But right now, like the Black Widow's done. That movie's been in the can for months. Yeah. So yeah, that's my point on that. But yeah, anyway, we're so excited for the MCU to finally get back whenever it does. I'm sick of waiting, honestly.
On to better news.
Yeah, it's gonna be 13 months next month of since we've had an MCU property come out. Anyway.
Well, now you made me
sorry. Well, yeah, let me cheer you up. So we have a new character casted in the upcoming Black Adam film. Obviously, of course, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So reports that Noah Centineo, hopefully I nailed that, has been casted to play Atom Smasher. And Thomas, I am not familiar. I'm less of a DC Comics person than maybe some are. I just don't really read DC Comics very often. At all. I read Batman comics almost exclusively.
I don't read them very often at all.
Yeah.
Are you getting to where you ask me who he is?
Basically, or just like, do you have any idea or like what this means for the movie? Why should we care?
Why should we care? What a great. That's it. It's been a day. So Atom Smasher in the comics, his name is Albert, and I just had it and then I lost it. Rothstein. He made his first appearance in 1983. He is his godfather is the first iteration of the Atom, who shrinks and grows, and his grandfather is the villainous Cyclotron. He gained metahuman abilities through his villainous grandfather, including super strength and the ability to alter his body size and density, kind of like the Atom.
Yeah.
Or Captain Atom. It kind of depends on which version of the Atom we're talking about. He officially becomes Atom Smasher as part of the creation of the New Justice Society of America, and then he spent a lot of time trying to prove his worth because he comes from an evil side of family. You know
Right.
how it is. And tries to uphold his godfather's legacy. Holy crap, that was very
Hello?
loud. I heard that.
Yeah, I heard it too.
I was like,
That's
"Whoa!"
on our end, everyone. If you're listening to this, that was on our end.
Yeah, that was
Understand.
that was a crotch rocket going too fast around the corner. I'm surprised I didn't hear them crash. Please don't crash. Throughout his tenure as a superhero, he became established. He established personal relationships with his teammates in the Justice Society of America, including one with Black Adam. That's where it gets tied into the movie. Once he joined the JSA, once Black Adam joined the JSA, I believe that was in 2009, maybe? No, that's not right. I don't know what year that was that happened. It was written by Jeff Johns and David S. Goyer, who wrote these Man of Steel, yes? With Zack Snyder, David Goyer? Maybe?
That sounds right. I'll look it up. Keep going.
Yeah. I was looking to you for the
I know.
Superman.
I don't know. I'm thinking.
Anyway, those two characters initially butted heads, and then they decided after they became friends that they're going to help settle each other's vendettas. Adam killed Cobra.
Along with Dark Knight Trilogy.
Oh, that's right. He did do that. Wow.
Shout out the Dark Knight Trilogy.
Well, it's a good thing that we look at how this just weaved together like we planned it. Adam killed Cobra, who was the villain who murdered Albert's mother, aka Atom Smasher's mother, and Atom Smasher killed the dictatorial president of Atom's home country, Kandak. That led to him helping overthrow the entire government of Kandak. I almost said Kontrak, and that was dyslexia. Sorry, everyone. And then he died at the hands of the Spectre. So the reason that he's in this movie is because he has a surprisingly strong friendship with Black Adam in the comics. And so they've already talked about including the Justice Society of America in this movie. Like, that's a big deal. So my gut tells me that instead of Black Adam being the outright villain of this movie, which a lot of people were kind of assuming he might be, he'd be an anti-hero, like fighting the Justice Society of America. I have a small feeling that this is just going to be a Justice Society of America movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, it's not. Because what I would just said makes it Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn, as opposed to a Harley Quinn movie with Birds of Prey. This is going to be a Black Adam movie with the Justice Society of America, is how I think it's going to play out.
Yeah, might.
And it's going to be exciting because it has The Rock.
For sure. I mean, the fact that, he's been teasing that he's Black Adam for years now, and now we're finally getting some real tangible casting news. I think we have a release date. I forget. It's like 2022. Yeah.
They're supposed to start production soonish.
Yeah. I think they're going to start filming at the beginning of next year, actually. I think I just read that.
So.
Hashtag what the news.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that brings up a question on The Rock's Netflix film with Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds that they were filming. Red Notice, I think, is the name. They were filming that and had to shut down.
Sorry. I don't know.
Intriguing.
They said early 2021, so that's pretty vague for when they're going to start Black Adam, so we'll see. And The Rock's a busy dude, man. He can be in 3 places at once. Don't forget that.
That is, okay, that's not how physics works, bro. Speaking of Netflix, everyone, you have to listen to me talk for a little bit. This week, Netflix, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Netflix released their top 10 movies of all time streaming from their service. And I'm going to run through all 10 of them. Number 10, The Perfect Date. Granted, I do not know most of these because I have not seen most of these. But, number 10, and this is the current one because I have an asterisk coming later. The Perfect Date has 48 million views, I believe is how it is, or it's been seen in 48 million homes or 48 million accounts. So if you were to take one person, if you were just to assume one person watched that movie on that account, and then you multiply that, that you got 48 million people watching that times your ticket concession and your standard ticket price of, let's just say, $10. That's how much money they'd potentially make if it were released in theaters.
Yeah.
And they obviously have to pay more in marketing and such. Number 9, The Platform, 56 million. Number 8, The Wrong Missy. That's that new David Spade movie. I didn't watch it. 59 million. You did?
No, I have not. Nope.
Oh, I got you. Triple Frontier. That's oh my God, that's a star-studded cast. Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hedlund, Oscar Isaac.
Wow.
Someone else that I am now blanking on. That has 63 million. The Irishman, Martin Scorsese's flick.
Yeah.
It's not cinema. 64 million. Hot take. Number 5, Murder Mystery with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston.
Right.
73 million.
Adam Sandler kills it on Netflix, man.
I'm going to be honest. That was that contract was gold for him. But that movie, Murder Mystery, I'm a huge I was 5, 6, 7 when Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Mr. D, up to Mr. Deeds, that 7-8 year span.
Yeah.
That is Adam Sandler to me. My favorite movie of his is Waterboy, and of course it's because it's football. Heavily biased. But Murder Mystery completely holds up with that. It doesn't even hold up. It takes his Mr. Deeds / 50 First Dates kind of character, and it builds upon it. It's really, really good. I highly recommend Murder Mystery. I recommend Triple Frontier too, but Murder Mystery is really surprising. And I also
clearly a lot of people have watched it.
Yeah. If you have not watched it, Mom. Oh, hey, you have watched it. I just looked over at the comments. Mom thought it was good. Okay, so if Mom thinks it's pretty good, you got to go see it at your house. Number 4 is 6 Underground. That's a Michael Bay flick. I've heard it is a Michael Bay flick. That's how it was. That's how it was reviewed to me. Do you like Michael Bay? Yeah. There's an official conversation. Yeah, I don't either. 83 million. Spencer Confidential. I know nothing about this. 85 million.
Wow.
Can you guess the number 2, David?
Oh, I saw the list. I forget now.
Okay, no, that's cheating. Bird Box.
Oh, right. Yes. I was surprised it wasn't number 1. I was surprised what's number 1.
I am not.
What?
I am not, because number 1 is Extraction with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's basically just Chris Hemsworth running around shooting stuff. This is the fastest, most action-packed movie I've seen in a really long time. I've watched it. I don't even think I wore the headphones for that movie. That dude, that was, I think she used the TV turned up really loud. Banger, slaps. Yeah. Okay, first off, it's by Agbo, which is the Russo brothers. It's directed by Sam Hargrave, who is a stuntman / second unit director for the Avengers films. And I'm pretty certain that he's actually Captain America's stunt double, or was at one point Chris Evans' stunt double as Captain America.
Yeah.
He's the director of this film. And boy, can you tell.
Is it good?
Holy shnikes, bro. It is very good.
Okay. I heard it was just action. There's just not much of plot, but it's just fun action the whole time.
There's enough of a plot.
Okay.
It's not a Michael Bay film. Yeah. There's a plot. There are emotional stakes because this film is Extraction. It's Chris Hemsworth, and this is why. Okay, I'm just gonna list off why it's number 1. Number 1, Chris freaking Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Number 2, it's produced, and I do believe partially written by the Russo brothers.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So Agbo is their thing.
Busy lately.
We have more coming up from Agbo soon. They're currently just pulling all their Avengers into their own personal stories, and they're creating completely new content and new franchises. Because Extraction did so well, they were already talking about a second one before it came out. The Netflix folks loved it so much that they were looking into it. So the plot is basically he has to go in and extract a boy who was kidnapped by a rival. He's a son of a drug lord. Rival drug lord kidnapped him. So that's the plot.
It sounds
But
fun. I'd watch it, honestly. I would
But-
really enjoy it, probably.
watch
I love
the
action
trailer.
movies.
No, you would
I've seen
really like it.
Yeah, I've seen the
because
trailer.
oh, you've
Looks
seen the
cool.
trailer?
It looks
Yeah.
cool.
So like there's really good scenes in the middle. So it's like surrounded by action, but the things that
Yeah.
I love the most were those small moments in between the explosions where the characters get to connect and you get to see why Tyler Rake does the things he does. Because starting out in the movie, you're like, why the fuck am I supposed to like this guy? Like, in all honesty, oh, hey, remind me to edit that out. So it's just like, well, why am I supposed to like this guy? Obviously, he's Thor, so I'm going to like him. But
Yeah, exactly.
then it gets to a point and it's like, oh, okay. And the ending, I mean, I predicted it only because I'm very astute and aware about shots and color grading, because I was in the middle of editing Toilet Paper Jesus at that point, which is exactly what I was working on, was the color grading of everything. So I'm not surprised that it was number one at 99 million accounts. So if you were to take that times $10 for each one, that is almost $1 billion in revenue they could have brought in. Then if you take the average Netflix subscription, and here's the thing that's really important, because we're about to get to the next big Netflix story, that they're just taking, oh, okay, we don't want to lose your subscription, so we're going to give you this movie, we're going to give you these stories, and we know you like this actor, these people, obviously,
Right.
so we're gonna make sure that we don't lose your subscription service, because 99 million accounts, if those 99 million stay on just for Extraction 2, whenever that comes out, that's like what, $12 a month is Netflix?
Yeah,
So-
it depends on your plan, but yeah, basically it's like, or $12.99 maybe.
Yeah,
like
so
13.
we'll say $12 just for, that's a couple bucks extra on a movie ticket every month for 12 months. Let's say it comes out in 3 years. That's a lot of money that Netflix is making right there. Asterisk time. The Old Guard, which we talked about a little bit before, just dropped last Friday, a week ago.
Okay.
It is currently projected to have 72 million views.
Wow.
By at the end of 4 weeks. So Netflix grades everything off of a 4-week span.
Yeah.
That's how they judge it, because that's basically like your top grossing time in theater.
Right.
So that's why they go 4 weeks. And they're projecting that that's going to be 72 million. And that is based on a comic book written by the same guy who wrote the screenplay. And if that does make it into the top 10, then it will be the first Black female director in the top 10.
Wow.
This movie, let me show you this movie really quick. Charlize Theron runs around with an axe. She's immortal. People say it's a Highlander ripoff, but the writer said that when he wrote the comic, he did rip off Highlander because he liked the idea, but he changed some stuff. This movie has, as much as I loved Extraction, I might like The Old Guard more.
Really? Okay.
It has more, you care about the character. There's more characters, first off. So they have to make you care about the characters more.
Yeah.
In Extraction, it's basically two characters. You only care about the main character and the boy. And then as time goes on, you slowly care about other characters. Like you understand the plight of other characters. But it's like, okay, the top two and then everybody else. And this, you've got 5 main characters right off the bat that you care about.
Yeah.
So they make you feel invested, and they don't. The best part is there's a lot of mystery going on in this movie about why they're immortal.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the drawing point. Now, David, I'm going to stop talking. I'm tired of hearing my voice. Tell everybody about Agbo getting paid.
Yeah. So, oh wait, which one was this? I'm sorry, I have my notes mixed up. The Russo brothers one, or no?
Yes. Agbo spy film.
Nailed it. Okay. So the Russo brothers are back at it again. They have been keeping busy since they finished out their I guess they're kind of like, I don't know, it's not a trilogy, but they're run at the MCU. And they are once again, like they just did a movie, I think it's called Cherry with Tom Holland that's done filming, that'll be out like next year, I want to say, or maybe this year. They're keeping it up with another former MCU character or actor with Chris Evans. He's also being joined with Ryan Gosling for this next Netflix film called The Gray Man. And The Gray Man, if you guys don't know, it is based off a 2009 book, a novel. And I'm not sure exactly like with a plot because I haven't read the book or anything. But yeah, it's a Netflix film. The Russo brothers are in. It's teased that Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling will not be getting along in the movie, so they're kind of being it's kind of being not marketed, but it's kind of being written as like they're going head to head in a certain sense. So that sounds awesome. Russo brothers movie with Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling going head to head in some form or fashion. Thomas, what did you think when you saw this? Do you know anything about The Gray Man? What were your thoughts?
You're making me talk again. So my thoughts.
Sure.
I realized that the link that I just put a new link in the show notes if you want to open that up, because it is a much better explanation of why this is a big fat story. So The Gray Man, as I'm getting from this news article, and I just lost it, follows Court Gentry, who will be Gosling, played by Gosling, a legend in the covert realm who is an expert at completing any lethal task and then disappearing. But he's now being pursued by a former CIA colleague of his, Lloyd Hansen, played by Chris Evans, once they feel that Gentry has outlived his usefulness, a.k.a. he's been burned by the CIA. There are multiple books, and Netflix is hoping that this will be their spycraft franchise, similar to James Bond.
Very cool.
And here is the most important feature of this
here's the
entire conversation. It's reported it's being directed by the Russo brothers, and it's also being written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who, as we all know as fans, wrote every movie for Captain America and did Infinity War and Endgame. So they're getting back together to write a spy thriller flick. And
Very
Netflix is giving them $200 million to make this film.
Yeah.
And it will never go in theaters. Oh, well, no, it might go in theaters, but it's not going to make $200 million in theaters.
No, it won't be like a... Yeah, right. It won't be like a wide release theater film. The Netflix movie. It's not going to go... It might go in those few Netflix... whatever. There's a couple Netflix theaters just to give them like maybe some Oscar chances or something, or just to have a small release for a few people that want to go actually see it in the theater. I will say, a random note, this is super exciting. $200 million is awesome. The movie sounds great. I am still, and that's what this whole pandemic sucks so much, I'm still a sucker for the theater. I still do not prefer going on my Netflix on my laptop or like my phone or my TV and watching it first there. I am still a sucker for going to the theater, watching the movie there with an audience, and the big screen. The
surround sound.
Surround sound. A little note that I think is like crucial, that I think a reason I really, really like the theater experience is the common courtesies of the theater, where no phones, little talking, and when someone talks a lot, I'm like, come on, guy, or like whoever's talking a lot. I'm like, if they're near me, I'm like, all right, like, what are you doing exactly? But anyway, are
you calling out Jasmine for talking?
No, she's good. She's good. I actually probably talked more than her in the movie, to be honest.
Not surprised. 0% surprised.
Fun fact: on our first date, we went to see what was it? King Kong, Skull Island. That was our first date ever. And I remember after the theater, she's looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm like, she didn't really realize how much I was in the movies. I remember my first thoughts. I'm like, you have a nice balance of how much you talk and how much you don't talk in a movie. And I was like, that meant a lot to me. And she's like, okay, whatever. But like, to me, it's like, I care about going to the theater. She's like, it wasn't like she was talking the whole time or not enough, but yeah, she's good. But in general, I think
what a weird compliment.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's a great
You're going to get married, and then I'm going to give the toast one day, and I'm like, and that's when he knew that he was going to marry her. He had the perfect balance of talking and not talking in the theater.
Literally. But anyway, just in general, I think the theater is so much fun because those common courtesies happen all the time. People put it with their phone. You don't talk as much. Like when you're watching it at home, you can easily go on your phone, get distracted, go in the kitchen, go do whatever, answer the door, walk the dog. all these things, and you're not watching the movie, you're not completely honed in. And this is a random aside that I just like to talk about because I always defend the theater. I can't wait for it to come back. I miss it so much. The last movie I saw in theaters was, what was that? Bloodshot. I saw it with my friend Kevin.
That's a bummer, dude. I saw Onward in theaters. I'm one of the few people in the world who have seen Onward in theaters.
Did you see Sonic in theaters?
I did not.
I
that was my next one. I was gonna go see it the week after, and then they closed down.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, right?
I was totally bummed, and my nephews made fun of me. They still make fun of me for crying at Onward. Like, why do you cry? I was like, you'll get it when you're older, child.
Yeah. Still haven't seen Onward myself. Still have to watch that movie. I've been meaning to for like the last maybe 3 months. I've been like trying to watch Onward, and it just hasn't happened yet. So anyway,
you love your family.
I do, of course.
You're gonna love this movie.
I look forward to it. All right.
Moving on to the big story.
All right, we are moving in this episode here, so let's kind of just run through this. Well,
yeah, we are. We're packed up. We got a packed episode.
The Bad Batch. We met them, season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. We all love them. We all enjoyed them. They were a really fun addition to the mythology of Star Wars, to the canon, and now we are getting a new animated series called Star Wars: The Bad Batch, debuting on Disney Plus in 2021. I am very excited. This is kind of, to me, it feels like a little more Clone Wars, which I'm very excited about. I think just following them will be really cool because they had such a fun dynamic, and you could see where, because they are the Bad Batch and they do have, kind of layers and, more than I guess most clones, they are like defective or whatever. It'll be more interesting than it was just like, the Clone Wars had main characters that were Jedi, so they didn't have to, it wasn't just about the clones, but this, they have different personalities, completely different like bodies and skills, and I am just super excited for this. Thomas, what did you think when you saw that Star Wars: The Bad Batch is coming to us?
What I said, I can't repeat. We've already met our PG-13 F-bomb ratio, and that was by accident. Yeah. So, I did not expect this, and I caught it in the 30 seconds after it was posted on either Facebook or Twitter. I don't remember. I just happened to open one of those social medias, and Star Wars was right at the top, and it says The Bad Batch animated series, and I'm like, okay. When? Now? I need it. Is it drugs? Let's do it. Inject that stuff right into my veins. Here's what I'm most excited about when it comes to this. Yeah. First off, we're going to get Star Wars animation, and because okay, it's set after the Clone Wars. I was trying to get to that point last because that's a very important point, but it's set after the Clone Wars. Essentially, from what I'm understanding, it's like right after the Clone Wars is what I believe it says. Yeah, I think, I read that it's like directly after the Clone Wars, so it's like right after Order 66. So very exciting time, for them. All it says is in the Star Wars, in the press releases, in the post-Clone War era, they will take on daring mercenary missions as they struggle to stay afloat and find new purpose. Yeah. So that leads to a lot of questions. But in terms of animation, with what they just did in Season 7, holy bejesus, mind-blowing. It's amazing. Because it's amazing. I don't know what else to say. The animation in Season 7 of Clone Wars is mind-boggling. And the fact that they're just going to give us anything with that same animation, thank you. Thank you so much. That's what's got me excited. And then I read it was in the post-Clone War era, and I was like, oh. So now, little fan story moment. Let's get I forgot to get the graphic ready. Wapow! 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 It's in the post-Clone War era. Obviously, it's after Order 66. Either A, they were not given Order 66, or B, they're bad. They're bad batches. Okay, I was going to go with, okay, you know what? You're right. Considering it's called The Bad Batch, my assumption is, especially the key line, the key part in that is, and find new purpose. Right. that's the part that makes me think, okay, it's going to be, obviously it's about the Bad Batch, so they're going to be heroes. We might get an episode or two during Order 66, which I'm really hoping that's how they start it, is at Order 66.
Oh, please.
And
awesome.
And because they are defective, this is where my A or B is. Either A, they didn't get the Order 66, or B, they're so defective they don't have the inhibitor chip in there.
Yeah, I thought that. That's a great way to start and to see if they even did it. Like if maybe some of them did, some of them didn't. Like you have to snap one of them out of it or two of them out of it. That would be really cool. They can go a lot of ways with this.
Exactly. Did Echo, because we know that Fives had it, and Echo didn't even get to see that part with Fives in the season. So Echo didn't know about the inhibitor chips from Five, but because he was plugged into actual computers, perhaps Echo knows about the inhibitor chip and knows how to remove it because
maybe you already did. Yeah,
exactly. Now, here is the point that I just forgot.
All right. Well, you
When it
remember that, I wanted to point out, Randy in the comments, he said mutual quick aside, back to what I was saying about the theater, mutual laughs, cries, and gasps from the audience too. That is also a huge part of it, especially in like a big packed theater. That's like, it's just the best. Opening night on a Marvel movie. I just live for that.
Same. Oh, I remember what it was. So
exactly.
Because I saw here, Randy also said possibly didn't get sent Order 66, just didn't trigger maybe. What if, no matter what happens to them, I have this very strong feeling that they're going to have to fight off clones. And I kind of want one of two things in this series. And I feel like I'm only going to get one of them, obviously, because they are completely different opposite ends of the spectrum. I wanted to see a Bad Batch series of them hunting Jedi. I kind of want that.
Oh, man.
Let's think about it. One of them is an expert marksman. The other can hear electromagnetic frequency, can feel it. The other is super strong. And then the other is the tech guy. He can literally understand technique and can speak multiple languages. Then you have Echo, who's half robot at this point. Imagine them hunting down Jedi.
That would be really cool. And a way to
hide.
Right. And a way to bring Jedi, back into the animation style and into like the Clone Wars style thing, which is like something, just as like something you always want to see. You always just as like a little kid, you always want to see Jedi and lightsabers and all that good stuff.
Now,
that would be really cool.
You ready for the other side of the spectrum?
Yeah.
They're saving Jedi.
Right. Or like working with them still. Or
and because we don't know how far this is set, like maybe we get their Order 66 issue the first season. Like think about this. Fallen Order is set 5 years after Order 66.
Right.
What if this season goes for 5 seasons, or this series goes for 5, 6 seasons, 7 seasons, and then they start bringing in those characters?
That'd be awesome.
Right?
Or what if it leads into a Fallen Order 2, which we know is coming? There you go. That's the reaction I was looking for.
Give it to me, Disney.
They can do it if they really want to make a bit of like more of a connected universe, which people comment they'd make too much of a connected universe, but that'd be a really clever way of doing it, especially when it's like not as mainstream.
Universe, it has to be connected. Like everyone gets mad. Everyone's like, it's getting too big. It's not about the Skywalkers. And I'm like, yeah, it's always been about the Skywalkers. Show me something other than 4 people.
Right.
That's 2 bloodlines in the entire galaxy.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I think most people complain about is how it's always been the Skywalkers. It's like we know everyone's connected to everyone. Yeah. And we know all of them. And it's supposed to be this huge, never-ending galaxy of all these different planets and force.
And there's it's mostly white people. Come on.
That's true too.
Come on.
Even in the whatever. Even in the sequel trilogy. Finn was going into the Force Awakens, you think Finn's gonna be the main character?
So I thought and then you get Rey. I love Rey.
Rey's awesome.
Praise
I mean,
off.
and it's obviously a number
But then
one lead
Finn
female
just
actress.
dropped real low. And it's like, what?
Finn should have been a more important character in the sequel trilogy. That's all I have to say.
Facts.
Anyway, also a quick aside for what the news before we move on to Batman Begins is that Uncharted started filming with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. We didn't have it on the list, but I just wanted to shout that out really quick. Uncharted, the movie, started filming. Why I care? Because after that ends, Spider-Man 3 starts filming. So
Yes.
I hope Tom Holland is not too tired by then, and he can put out a great performance right when he ends Uncharted.
February, right? They're supposed to start filming that? No, they're supposed to be done
They don't
filming in February. No. Tom Holland said he knows when Spider-Man ends filming.
No way. Maybe by February. Did it have to go back?
That was a thing. That was a real thing. That was a real article. I sent it. Let me look that up.
About the Uncharted movie, though, I will say I am actually kind of excited. I love the Uncharted games. I know there's a lot of critiques from the actual gamers who played Uncharted because it's like kind of a weird take. Because Mark Wahlberg's Sully, who is in the game, he's like an older guy, and then Nathan Drake, he's I think it's in Uncharted 3. Chat, help me out if you guys played Uncharted. I think it's Uncharted 3 that we get to play as Nate when he's like a younger kid. And it seems like that's going to be more of the dynamic in the film than like how we see normally in the games, where Mark Wahlberg as Sully will be a younger, obviously Sully. Tom Holland can play like a 12-year-old still, so he'll be a young Nathan Drake. Did you find the article you were looking for?
I did. So this is coming from comicbook.com and there's a bunch of other places. This came out yesterday at like noon Eastern. This is an exact quote from Holland. Finish Uncharted, finish Spider-Man in February next year, he said in a video posted to his father's Patreon account. 2 press tours, maybe together, which should take 6 weeks worth of work. And that's the life of the young actor at this point, who recently teased day one work on Uncharted with Mark Wahlberg.
Love to see it.
2 movies by February.
I'm telling you, man. I hope he rested up. The last 4 months because he's got a grind and big movies, not small movies. These are big blockbuster. He is the #1 star in both. I mean,
like the only thing that saves him for Spider-Man, the suit. You can put anybody in the suit.
That's true.
You can put a stuntman in the suit.
Yeah, but
So
he
that
loves
movie-
to do the stunts.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't like more likely than not, they're gonna save. They're just gonna do certain things, just like, all right, we need you to do this, and then, because my guess is it's gonna be with the same stunt guys he's already worked with. So
Yeah,
they
I mean,
know
it's
his
Sony.
charisma.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be like, okay, yeah, and it's Sony and Disney, so they're gonna be like, oh, let's just knock it out as fast as we can.
yeah. They'll have a plan. And I even heard that they like. I remember we talked about this where Disney's planning on even and Sony's planning on even starting filming Spider-Man before Tom Holland's even done with like scenes where he's not in them and like maybe some like I don't know all the phrases and stuff where it's like just like shots they can get without him basically.
Yeah, they can get with stand-ins,
landscapes,
landscape.
stuff like
Well,
that.
more likely than not, they're just gonna film every scene with every character that he's not needed in.
Exactly. If they want to.
Because of how they did Infinity War and Endgame, there's a possibility that they film half the movie without him. Every time his face isn't on screen, you might see the back of someone else's.
Which would be really weird. I hope you don't feel that, but probably it won't.
Did you feel that in Infinity War, bro?
No.
Because that's how they did everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. The way they filmed both those films is just like
I wish I could have worked on that set just to learn that.
Yeah,
'Cause
like
that is like
unbelievable.
that's a level of skill and technique to quote Doctor Strange, it's on a level hitherto undreamt of.
But apparently it's not cinema. Anyway, Terry's comment. He goes, I want Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake in Uncharted. That was a very, very, like, every fan of Uncharted wanted Nathan Fillion because he looked the part like no other. But, you know, I love Tom Holland, so I'm excited for this rendition. And I think they're going in a way where they're confident of their story. And Nathan Fillion seemed like might be like remaking Uncharted. This seems like a little more unique, which I'm excited about. I don't really like when say like a video game is remade into video game movies in general are typically good, but video games that are made into movies, I don't want them to be beat for beat, and I don't want it to be exactly the same. I like when movie creators and directors, writers, they take a project, they take a video game IP, book IP, and they make it their own. That's where you get the best stuff, in my opinion.
Sonic.
Yes, Sonic. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like Sonic, they did a great job. They didn't try to make a game or redo one. They just took the character, took the IP, and made a good movie out of it. A fun kids movie that we enjoyed as grown men on this podcast. Let's talk about Batman.
Episode 1. Wait, no, episode 2. Episode 2. Batman.
Batman begins.
When are we gonna get to your little tease of is Bale a good Batman? Can we just hop right in because we're an hour into the show? Let's just dive.
We need to, but let me start with just my preliminary stuff that I always do at the beginning. Then we'll just dive straight in.
Yeah, your technical.
Yeah, Batman Begins. Runtime long, 2 hours 20 minutes. I felt it, but it was. I said it. I was I was watching with people, including my girlfriend, who was sick and tired of watching the movie and thought it was boring and slow. But I was sitting there saying, like, it's a slow burn movie. Like, I'm enjoying the lead up. Like, I wrote that in my notes. Like, I enjoyed how it was slow burn. I think it had a good, like, I think I really enjoyed. I like the beginning of Batman Begins, like the first hour before he becomes, Batman. I enjoy that. I think some people would critique that aren't like crazy fans like Batman fans like us, like casual people like I was watching with last night, where it's like, all right, where is he? But to me, it's like, this is awesome, where he's training and stuff. Anyway, came out June 15th, my birthday, 2005. I did not see it on that date because I was 7 years old and would have scared the crap out of me when I was 7. Like I don't even remember when I saw this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I saw Batman '89 when I was too young, and it scared the hell out of me. Then I saw Batman Returns, and I still don't watch it.
Oh no! Oh, Batman Returns still gives me this creeps, man. That movie I don't really like because of that. Like I don't vibe with that movie at all. Anyway,
I don't think I've seen it in over 20 years, and I don't really want to.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird film. But anyway, Batman Begins, June 15th, 2005. I can't imagine if I had seen it then, but yeah. So what is that? 15 years ago, nearly, just over 15 years ago, this movie came out. Yeah, let's dive right into what we were saying earlier. So my AKA at the beginning of the movie, or at the beginning of the podcast today, was Christian Bale a good Batman? Which I think is a great way to start this whole trilogy of trilogy talk about the Dark Knight Trilogy, because his performance, from what I remember, is pretty much the same throughout. Yep. And this is my stance after watching this first film. We'll come back in a couple of weeks when we're done with The Dark Knight Rises and you'll get my full take. But for right now, I think the story and the writing and the Bruce they wrote and created that Christopher Nolan made was what was more superior than the actual fit as an actor as Christian Bale as Batman. I think the character they wrote and directed was better than the actual performance of Christian Bale. And I'll tell you why. It's just I think they set up the character beautifully in this film, where he's lost and you get these, you jump around time a bit. And I enjoy Christian Bale. That's the thing. I still enjoy him. I just don't know. I just think that he didn't have to carry this movie at all. I think Christopher Nolan carried the movie. I mean, I think it's a really good movie. It tells a great story. He's directed well. His line, he has cool lines throughout. Really cool, interesting. I like the Bruce Wayne stuff.
Most of the great lines come from other characters that he then later repeats. Remember that.
Oh, that's a good point. But I know you've been
notes and accidentally got drunk while taking notes. So
I always have my notes. I don't have as many as I did with Back to the Future, because I'm not addicted to Batman Begins like I am Back to the Future. But anyway, I will say though, I know we've talked about this where I was always defending Christian Bale. But after rewatching Batman Begins, I'm like, I see it. I don't know if it was necessarily him that was great or just the movies that were great. I don't know if it was him. I think the movies were great and he was just the actor in the role. It's basically my stance. And I enjoy him. I enjoy him overall, but I'm not sure he was this perfect fit. And it's crazy to say, but it makes me almost more excited for Robert Pattinson's edition, because I'm almost hoping he'll be a more of a fit, which I am really, really excited for. So, Thomas, I know you have a lot of thoughts on this. Let's dive right in. Let's get through it. What were your thoughts on Batman Begins, and then also Christian Bale as Batman / Bruce Wayne?
I forgot how damn good this movie is. Like, obviously, I'm a Nolan mark. I love pretty much everything Christopher Nolan does.
Yeah.
Everything that I've seen, I love.
Have you seen Memento?
I've not. That is like,
yeah.
That's really high on my list to see, but I'm like, I gotta be ready mentally.
Yeah, you gotta sit down and
like need a notepad to keep notes because I'm gonna try and figure out.
Literally.
I know how it ends and I know the plot, but like I want to. I know I'm upset about it because everyone told me about it ahead of time, but it's like I want to be able to take part in the acting, in the scenes, in the foretelling, because the first hour of this movie is so damn good in how they use non-linear storytelling to explain his origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
really cool.
My God.
I think they did a really good job.
In my first page, I have multiple like references of how good this storytelling is.
Yeah.
It opens and he's in prison. That was a surprise. I forgot that's actually how it opened. Like, I remember it because I know his origin. I remember it being standard, but it opens with him in prison. Then it goes back. Also, one of my biggest notes, it's crazy to think that Bale came off of the machinist, excuse me, where he weighed 98 pounds to being Bruce Wayne, and he got that big in about 6 or 8 weeks. That is insane. That blew my mind for the first 30 minutes.
That's unbelievable.
Because I've seen The Machinist, and it is scary. Just like on a human psychological level. That is scary, and how small he is. Oh, and then I found out like a year later that he went from that movie to Batman Begins in 8 weeks. And I was like, that is
it's crazy. I don't know how he did that. I literally have no idea.
Revolt is what I want to know. But anyways, they do that. They bounce back, they bounce back, they bounce forward, they bounce back. I love, spoiler alert, Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul. I'm just going to say that now. I love, that's my fourth note, is that I love that is an accurate, comic accurate look of Ra's al Ghul. How they have just that, and his hair is ever so slightly angled like Wolverine.
You want to know what my fourth note was exactly?
What?
Qui-Gon! Exclamation point.
That was my fifth. No, my sixth. Neeson teaching Bruce sounds like Jedi lessons.
Yeah, I wrote that. I was like, this is so funny. It's like Liam Neeson can't get away from these like mentorship like roles. You know, as Qui-Gon Jinn, obviously, like 6 years before this, and then now he's teaching Bruce how to fight and all these things. Also, the training in this movie, I love every training scene. Every second of it. Like, I forgot how good they were.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes this movie good, is the beginning. I forgot that because when I first saw it, I was like, okay, cool. And then he becomes Batman. I'm like, oh yeah, Batman. Yeah. And then The Dark Knight happened and The Dark Knight Rises. So now it's like, oh wow, this is really good. Oh, he's Batman, whatever.
I kind of think that it gets worse as it goes, honestly. Not in like a
the movie?
Yes, the movie.
Gotcha.
Like, I don't think its peak is the ending. I don't that last fight scene, even with the train and stuff, I wasn't that big of a fan of, honestly.
Agreed.
Which is kind of disappointing.
It peaks around.
I think it peaks. I'll tell you when I think it peaks. I think it peaks when he's first in the Batman suit and he's actually Batman, and he's at that like what would you call it? Like all that storage and stuff, and he finally is like, I'm Batman. Like that, it's that scene with all the Falcone goons and like where he's actually just like, you know, it was the first time. I mean, historically, the first time seeing like a live action Batman where it's like, you know, he's hiding, he's doing all those sort of things where it's like he's popping out of nowhere and he's being, you know, terrifying. I think Keaton did that to some degree, but not to this level where it's like it feels real. I think something about this movie that kind of to some degree I really like, but then in other parts with all the Ra's al Ghul kind of mystical stuff about Ra's al Ghul, which kind of makes it feel a little unbalanced, is how realistic this movie feels. Like when he's making the suit that is the most realistic suit building thing I've ever seen in a superhero movie. And normally you get really bad ones, like in Spider-Man films. We've had like some really bad ones where it's like, how did Tobey Maguire make that? How did Andrew Garfield make that? But like you just kind of accept it and enjoy Spider-Man swinging around as I do. But this movie has a great realistic feel to it. He's just a dude. And I'm so glad they never went the direction of putting this Batman in like a bigger universe, because I love it the way
he's just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Yeah, you're right. He's a lost dude. I mean, something I wrote at the beginning is like, I love how we see through the non-jumping around timelines at the beginning how truly lost he is and how angry he is. I mean, really angry. Like, not just fake angry, but has real anger that like he has to somehow, express, or just he needs to make amends. I mean, everything with his parents. It was funny. Like,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just gonna say, I did make a note. I like thought about it in my head. I think this is not at the time, but now looking back, because the Joker and Batman v Superman had one too. This is the 4th live action killing of Martha and Thomas Wayne. Batman Begins, Batman v Superman, Joker, all have them.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. I was like, at the time, this doesn't feel like it was getting old, but watching it again, I'm like, yeah, got it.
That's the best part, is that we'd only see. You know what? No, I do believe they retell it in Batman Return. No, the one with Val Kilmer.
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond. No.
No. Batman Forever. My bad.
Forever. Thank you.
Sorry.
I think they do have like a flashback sequence to that. I don't know if that counts or not, but
really,
I do believe so. I remember seeing it in an older Batman film, but it was a flashback and it was quick cuts. But when this happened, when this movie came out, everyone was like, "Oh, we don't want to see the origin story again." Right? Like that was a big deal. And now looking back at it, it's like that was probably like, in terms of Batman 89, yeah, that was great how they did it. But in this, it's non-linear, and it is so good how it's pulled off.
I agree, man. I really agree.
Bouncing off of that, I forgot that because I've said this in a podcast, that we've never gotten a comic accurate representation of the murder, with it being Joe Chill. And it's Joe Chill in this movie, and I rescind my hatred before. My bad, everybody. My bad.
Yeah.
But I forgot that Bruce did not kill Joe Chill. For the last 15 years, I remember him killing Joe Chill. So
nope.
Every time he hurts somebody in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, and it's like, well, they're dead, because that's how physics works.
Yeah, even in this movie, there's like cars that flip, and I'm like, how are they not? There's no way these people aren't dead.
Oh my god, he runs over the cop car.
And did you notice they had that line from Michael Caine saying like, it's a miracle no one died, just to throw it in that no one dies, just come on.
Oh my god. So yeah. But yeah, I was really surprised and totally forgot that he did not kill Joe Chill.
Yeah.
So this might be the only live action Batman that we have that does not actually kill.
Yeah.
Now, if you understand physics, the mother fracker kills a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely maybe BVS.
Yeah. Okay, well, BVS is totally different.
Unapologetically in BVS.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. That's Dark Knight Returns. In that comic, he killed a lot of people, so that's totally different. In this movie, as we all know, the whole plot is to take out Gotham for the villain side. I completely forgot that they dropped that in the first 45 minutes of the movie, that we must completely destroy Gotham.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about that too, and I'm like, because it's going so well with the League of Shadows. It's like seeing it go, and then I'm like, wait, how does this twist again? I remember the scene of him like flicking up the like fire rock, like the rock that's like on fire or whatever, and then the whole place burning down. I'm like, wait, how do we get there again? And I'm like, oh right, they're nuts, and they want to burn down all of Gotham. Like, one thing I hate about this movie, which is just like not that big of a critique, but I hate how we get Liam Neeson as, he's faking not as Ra's al Ghul, just working for him, and then he later says he's Ra's al Ghul. the gap of time where we don't see them, like the League of Shadows and Raz and Liam Neeson. I'm like, Liam Neeson's so good in this film, and it goes out like a wimp, for lack of a better word. Like, come on, and you never see him again in this trilogy, which is like I thought he might come back. I remember initially watching the movie, but it's like,
you want a mildly hot take? He should have come back in The Dark Knight Rises.
yeah, that would have been awesome.
The fracking Lazarus pit, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's so much crap in this that it borderline, like he gets Two-Face has gas on his face and then fire hits him and then he gets super burnt only on one side of his face. That's not how physics works, man. Okay? Yeah. It would melt everything. It wouldn't just have this nice, fairly clean line down the middle of his face. That's just not how physics works. But you're meaning to tell me that the Lazarus pit doesn't exist in this universe?
Yeah. I mean, it was
like,
kind of, yeah.
He should have been in The Dark Knight Rises. That whole movie's around the child of Ra's al Ghul. He makes a brief appearance, even in like.
Is he not in the third one in some
it's
sort
a
of
waste
way?
Of Neeson. And I'm looking at you, Star Wars. It's a waste of Neeson.
Honestly, both franchises. Anyway. One thing I will say that I really enjoyed from this movie that I forgot about at all was just that the Waynes, like Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne, like, or just Thomas Wayne, he had a story in it a bit. He had like a purpose. He was a character. Talking about like the death scene, I cared when he died. And then that setup lead us to years and years later seeing the Gotham that we're living in now, where it's gotten worse, and all the basically, I forget the line. It's such a good line where it's like, you just keep all the rich, all the bad people are rich, and like all the good people are poor. But it's like it's said way better than that. And whatever the purpose was, anyway, basically it's so corrupt, and everyone's in each other's pockets, and all the rich people just own everything and are bad. And yeah, it's just, I enjoyed seeing that story development and throughout. Anyway, let's get this comment.
Yeah, so Shannon Williams said that Raz should have survived the crash and come back as half android. I fully support this.
For sure.
Terry here is correcting us. Raz does come back, but only in flashes to Bruce while he's in the pit.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. I was gonna say like that.
I'm a little bit less angry
in Dark Knight Rises. I think
I'm a flash less angry.
Yeah. Something I wanted to say is just that I like Rachel a lot in this film, and she gets recasted in the next one.
That's what I was about to get to. Is Rachel?
Really? Yeah. Like Rachel's good. And she gets recasted in the next one. I do not like her as much. I forget the name of the actress.
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, that's in the second film.
Yep.
Yeah, because
this one?
No, this one's Katie Holmes, right? Yeah. So
okay.
Right, yeah, Gyllenhaal, and it'll be critique for the Dark Knight or just the Dark Knight, but like in this movie, I really, really like Rachel. I think she's like a strong character. She's just a good like yin yang Bruce. Yeah, DA's office like cares. It doesn't want to let Gotham just run into the ground. And I think like is a kind of a bit of a moral compass for Bruce in a way. Like we see where he's out in the hotel and he buys the hotel and he's with the little girls, and then all of a sudden it's like Rachel. And he's like, oh, yeah.
And he totally changes. Like
exactly.
He cannot hide who he really is to her.
Yeah, exactly. And even obviously at the end where it's like, it's not what you do to whatever that line. I can't nail that line as like he does. I will say the best line, one of the best lines that I think is like almost underrated that's in this film and just in general in like superhero movies is when the guys in like what I said was the pinnacle of the movie, like the hypest moment was just when he's taking out all those goons. Or no, I think it's actually later when he's in the. Oh yeah, it's later when he's taking out that one guy working with Falcone. I forget his name. And he grapples him up, holding him by like the ankle, and he's holding him up, and he's like, "I swear to God," and he's like, "Swear to me." That's such a good line. Like it's so overplayed now that it's like almost gotten underrated, but it's like it's brilliant, and it shows how just like his mindset is, and how he's like, I don't care, like swear to me, like I'm the one that matters, or I'm gonna kill you. Such a good line. I love the part where he uses sonar to get the bat stall come through. That was so cool. My friends asked me what's happening. I'm like, he's sonar. He click a little thing on his heel. Watch the movie. But yeah. Anyway,
watch the movie.
The Batmobile. Lucius Fox.
Hold on. I want to talk about Rachel still.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sorry. Rachel.
So you're good, man. So ironically, this past week I watched it's a Looper video, and it was like it was something about characters who were wasted in a movie or who should have been cast differently. And the number one was actually Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes in this movie, and then Maggie Gyllenhaal being in the second one.
Yeah.
They mentioned how Dawes doesn't really have anything to do. She is just there, and she's there to help Bruce and boost Bruce up. That's really hard to say. And then when Maggie Gyllenhaal comes in, she does a whole different version. She's less stale, she's less wooden, and she brings a much better emotional gravitas, is what I'm going to call it, because they said other stuff.
You agree with this?
Hold on. When it happened, I was like, you know what? Honestly, you're right. Because Katie Holmes is a little bit rigid in that movie. Now, rewatch. Here is where I do agree with it. In terms of acting alone, Maggie Gyllenhaal does a better job of acting than Katie, in my personal opinion. And Katie is just, I'm sorry, not Katie. Rachel is there. There are certain scenes where she is built up. And then the reason that I think they made this claim is at the end of the day, they just turn her into a damsel. And I have in giant freaking angry, I ripped my paper while writing it. They turned her into a fracking damsel. Not fracking, though.
Yeah.
And I drew an angry face. I was very, very upset when they did that, because until that point, I think she's a strong character. But then that happens. She's a damsel. And then after that point, it's like, who the hell cares? Now, they gave Rachel the best lines of this whole movie.
Yeah.
Where is it? It's not who you are underneath. It's what you do that defines you. That's the Batman. That's the quote that you were trying to think of. Here's my favorite quote from this entire movie. What chance does Gotham have when what chance does Gotham have when good people do nothing?
Yeah.
I would like to take this quote, remove Gotham, and say the world. What chance does the world have when good people do nothing? That's how good that quote is. You can take it, you can change one word, and the meaning is the exact same.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite quote from the whole movie. The whole stupid, because we hear that it's not who you are, it's what you do that defines you. We hear that so much over the trilogy that I just kind of freaking hate it.
Does it come back?
Yeah, pretty sure it does. Like I remember that quote being in The Dark Knight, and then again in The Dark Knight Rises. Pretty sure he tells Catwoman that in The Dark Knight Rises, and that's why she falls in love. I don't.
Oh, maybe. One thing I will say is that Spider-Man train scenes greater than Batman train scenes.
Accurate statement.
Just to throw in some love for my boy Spider-Man.
Speaking of the train, I love how we get the view of the train when it's like all clean and pristine and very nice looking, and then later on it's just like New York City subway.
Yeah, they had some cool practical effects in this movie. Did you see how they? Oh, it just came out recently. How like they would. I don't know if it was this movie or like The Dark Knight, when they use small mini modeling for some of the Batmobile scenes. Did you see this video? It was like, go look it up. I forget the wording for it, where it's like small model scenes, Dark Knight, where it's like the Batmobile, where it was like a small, almost like model Batmobile, and that's how they filmed some of the scenes of it going around and like breaking stuff up. So it was it's really cool. I don't know how they did it, but one thing I do want to say.
Oh wait, hold on. That's probably in this film when they're on the roof, because I was watching that and I was like, there is no way this is practical.
But it looked practical.
And I'm like, but that's not CG. That's not 2005 CG.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I bet that's a mini.
Yeah.
And also because I can't believe my degree has helped me understand physics just by eyeballing it. But the way that things broke, it broke like cheap styrofoam. As soon as it hit, it flew out, and I was watching it, and I was going, huh. Well, they definitely didn't put a car on anything, because that is an impressive weight span.
Yeah.
And so you mentioning that, yeah, that had to be it. Oh my God, Siri's listening to me. Stupid.
And one thing I wanted to say was just how cool and just great. That's why I love Batman in general. He just has the greatest villains. Like, he has so many of them. They can just be thrown in and work together well. I mean,
Zaz.
Yeah.
I forgot Zaz was in this movie.
Zaz, we
Totally
have
forgot.
Ghul, we have Scarecrow, we have Falcone, we get the Joker card at the end, which is still a great tease. I mean, still an awesome tease. I love that at the end.
It's very important. I wrote this down because this is very important for next week's when we cover the Dark Knight. Armed robbery, double homicide. That's what he has on the Joker guy. I want to know, and I'm wondering if that is his opening.
Right,
like,
that's the opening scene from the Dark Knight.
If you can watch Batman Begins and then the Dark Knight, and it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Or if it's Batman Begins, then the Dark Knight opening, and then that scene, and then the rest of Dark Knight.
Exactly.
Like, I really want to know. He said that, and I go, oh, I forgot he mentioned that.
I didn't know it was.
Oh.
I don't know if it are they supposed to be chronologically back to back like that? Like the films, Batman Begins and Dark Knight. Do they happen one after another?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Batman Begins, like, oh, you mean like instantaneously?
Yeah, right.
Like Force Awakens, Last Jedi kind of vibes.
Right.
I've always found that really hard to understand. In all honesty,
it doesn't seem like it. It seems more veteran once we get to him in the Dark Knight. If I remember correctly.
I concur. It really does. But then again, it could be like he's really good by the end of this movie, and he doesn't really do anything new except get that weird scene where they filmed it in Japan. No. It's supposed to be Japan. In the Dark Knight.
I love that scene.
Yeah, that scene. I think that's the only one where it's like anything new. Everything after that is him beating the crap out of Joker. Don't hit the head. That's how you get all the cobwebs up.
I will say, this movie is really good. It's better than I remembered. I enjoyed it more watching it this time than I think I ever had before. I think I really enjoyed the beginning more than I ever had before. And
I hated the ending.
Yeah, like I said, the movie it doesn't have a great third act, in my opinion.
Which is such a surprise for Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Right?
It almost seemed like they put too much time and effort into making a great origin, and they almost kind of just figured once Batman's in the suit and they'll just do it. It's a very cookie cutter ending. It's not that like the ending of The Dark Knight is so good. The Dark Knight in general is so good. We're gonna get to it next week, but like watching this movie made me so excited for that. Oh yeah, big point. One of my biggest points is the music by Hans Zimmer in this trilogy is some of the best in any movie franchise. I literally
that is my second note is the theme with 6 exclamation points. And then I love how we don't get the full theme. Oh, I wrote that somewhere. I love how we don't get the full theme until he shirt.
I don't remember exactly.
First full version of the Batman scene is during Bruce finding the caves as an adult.
Yeah.
Like I loved how they built up to that theme.
It's so good. I used to have it as like my ringtone or something. So I like when it played, I'm like, oh, I like love this music. It's like it's just the best, and it's throughout. Like especially in The Dark Knight, you get it a lot more. They're more heavy-handed with the theme because they're not. Yeah. The Dark Knight is just a great second film in general because
The Dark Knight is a great film. You don't even need anything before that. Like that, if that were the first movie, everything else after it would suck.
Yeah, and I will say, like in our kind of how we're going to talk about it when we're done with The Dark Knight Rises and ranking these in a sense of, like in a trilogy, like this is a great origin. And like for an origin film, I think as a movie itself, I really enjoyed it. It doesn't have a great ending, like we were saying. It's pretty predictable in a way where it's just not, it's not a clever ending.
It's white bread.
Yeah.
It is white bread. It is white Wonder Bread ending. And it is, I loved it when I was 13.
Yeah, right.
But now I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's all right. I think it could have been better.
I wasn't even looking at the TV by that point. I was already doing work.
Yeah, what's crazy is that, the beginning when he's not Batman held my attention more than when he was like, later on.
Oh my god. I can't wait. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then he was Batman, and instantaneously I was like, I don't care anymore.
Even my notes, I'm noticing I had way more from the beginning, and I don't have that many during the end.
Let's see. My first page goes until he finds the caves as an adult.
Yeah.
My second page, Wayne family involved in Underground Railroad. Young Happy, which is Detective Flass, who gets pulled up. Follow me.
Yep.
I have a large space, aka space, and then it's Batman, and then I love the nice coat. Batman. The Batman voice does not start out as raspy. In his first scene as Batman, he is not raspy. He's just low.
Yeah.
Like, swear to me. And I was like, ooh. And then by the end, it's super raspy. I just put out my voice. Yeah. Oh, literally, Batman voice isn't raspy, and then it's not who you are. Underneath it, and then the very next line is, oh, and now it's raspy.
Well, something I thought was cool was just the Bat Cave and how it was made, and that was another one where I felt very realistic, and like the piano keys and how when the Wayne Manor lights on fire, like them sneaking out in there. Michael Caine as Alfred is awesome, man. Like I love Michael Caine in general, and he is great. He's a great Alfred in my mind. I really don't have much more in this film. Like the beginning's great. When we get back to Gotham, it's pretty good, and then the last part, I'm just like, where was Raz this whole time? I wish we had more of him. Liam Neeson, I wish we had more of him in the film because I enjoyed all those parts. The training was great. All the League of Shadows stuff, especially that one part where he takes he breathes in like the flower smoke, and all of a sudden like his senses are like blinking, and it's really difficult and really cool stuff.
Really good effects. Like cinematography. Right, it was really cool.
That was cool. I will say though, I mean, next week, man, The Dark Knight. This just sets up for. They're just like underhand lobbing up a softball just to whack it out of the park because
just to hit it with a freaking Darth Vader power right there, man. Yeah. It's so good.
I mean, The Dark Knight to me.
I've got a couple little notes before we get all the way there. Remind me to end on my second favorite quote because it's very important to humanity right now.
Okay.
So a couple notes that I have for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, the pace is very frantic.
Yeah. Like the beginning is less frantic than after an hour it picks up.
Well, I think the beginning is slow. But because they have the nonlinear storytelling, it feels frantic.
It moves,
It moves. So it's like, we're here. Oh, then we jump into the past. Oh, and then we jump back into the present. Oh, we jump back into the past. Oh, we jump back into the present. And we jump like really quick in the past, and we come back. Mm-hmm. So that first hour is slow, quote unquote, but the way that they edit it makes it feel frantic. And then after Bruce returns, there's really not a lot going on. It is like bam, 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 loving it. It's just it goes in places we don't expect. They turned Rachel into a damsel.
Why is that your best impression? The Mark Hamill Joker one.
Well, I don't know why. I've been practicing since I was 2 years old. You son of a bitch. Seriously, I've been working on that for decades.
You need to get hired by like WB Montreal or something to be in the video games.
I just want Mark Hamill to hire me as like his homie. No, let's hang out. Okay.
Just take the mantle.
Why do we fall? So that we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
Yeah.
That's a very important quote for life. the fact that Bruce Wayne in this movie, one-dimensional overall, I think, and that's my biggest gripe.
Clear, like
that's my biggest gripe with Bruce Wayne, with this entire trilogy is Bruce Wayne. Like everyone's like, Bale's the best Batman. I'm like, Bale as Batman in the suit? I can give you that because they use certain things that they don't use in other movies that I really love. But him as Bruce Wayne is such poop that I don't care what you say. I will die on the hill that Christian Bale is not the best Batman. I will die on that hill.
I mean,
like his best scene as Bruce Wayne is when he's playing a dick, kicking everyone out. I thought that was great. I laughed so hard because I'm like, that's actually not him. That's actually good acting.
Yeah.
And then, the whole Rachel's like, this is your mask. Batman's who you really are. I'm like, that explains this entire trilogy.
I would say his one dimension, like his second dimension, if there was one, would be with Rachel.
Yes.
Like that's where he kind of got that's where he would go from being this just mad, angry, driven Bruce Wayne who has one focal goal, and a little bit with Alfred as well. He had some back to reality moments, but for the most part, I would say he's one dimensional.
Like even when he's out in public, it's just like being a dick, being a dick.
Oh, and something? Yeah,
I was about to say horrible. My mom would stab me.
One thing I wanted to say was that I cannot this movie just does a great job of obviously teeing up for Dark Knight, and one thing it does well is teeing up Jim Gordon, which I think he has a much better role in the second film, much bigger role, and he is awesome in it. And this one, it's like, yeah,
100%.
He's awesome.
Jim Gordon is my favorite character in the entire trilogy.
But after just this movie, I wouldn't be saying that at all. No. Next movie and the following,
after this movie, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's there. And then, I always knew him as Commissioner Gordon. So then when he gets named Commissioner Gordon in The Dark Knight, I'm like, what the hell was he before? He's always been Commissioner.
Yeah.
Well, I knew the comics and he was Sergeant, then Lieutenant. And then at the end of this next one, I think he's or in the next one, he might be a captain. And then he becomes Commissioner. And then in The Dark Knight Rises, he saves everyone. He's literally the one who saves everyone.
Yeah, this is my second favorite Gordon rendition behind Batman Year One, the comic. Gordon in Batman Year One's awesome.
Wow, and he's so you're saying across all mediums.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that. But
that's a slightly hot take, dude.
You think so?
I think so. There's a lot of different versions of Commissioner Gordon out there.
I mean, but
I also would have to agree. He's very good in this trilogy. I think he's the best written character in the entire trilogy. He is our viewpoint he's our audience point of view character. That's who he is.
Yeah.
In this entire trilogy, he's the point of view character.
And I agree. He's a great character. And what's funny is that he looks in the comic, the Batman Year One I just referenced, they look very similar from that comic to this movie. I think they took some strokes from that. So
they definitely did. And how he slowly built up to his thing. And you've read a different version of Year One, I think.
Oh, really?
There's a few different variations on Year One. Every writer kind of makes their own version because they enjoy it. And then it kind of pulls. Yeah, it's super weird. There's
I'm just the main, or I don't know. I got it off. Maybe I forget where I bought it up. I think I bought it from a comic shop actually. Shout out. But it's just it's one book. It has the multiple parts in the one book, and in it, I mean, Gordon.
You know who the writer is?
Yeah, I'll look it up. I think it's Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you look it up because there's a few different.
What are your final thoughts or your remaining thoughts on this film?
My remaining thoughts are get your sensors ready. Joffrey Baratheon, that little cunt. I hate that dude so much in Game of Thrones. I wanted him to die in this movie. Nothing to do with Batman, but I forgot he was in the movie. And then when he popped up, I yelled at the TV, I hope you die.
I noticed that too. I noticed Joffrey was in this film. And I was thinking, and it was funny because he's so little.
He's so little, sweet, innocent, American, like weird.
Yeah, American,
Now-
very innocent, blonde little kid. That was.
Here's my final point here, because it's my second favorite quote, and it's very important. What you fear most is inside yourself. You fear your power, your anger. There's a little bit more in there, but I write slow, so that's when they're fighting. I do believe that this is when they're fighting on the ice. I could be wrong, but that is my second favorite quote, because that is Liam Neeson talking about fear, and it's like, yes, Qui-Gon.
Yeah. So
Mom, are you good at lip reading? Is that what you're saying?
oh no, we heard you.
What?
Yeah.
I hit the button.
I heard you.
America!
I hear you, yeah.
How do you hear me? That's so not fair. Technology?
Baited.
I got baited.
Oh, I don't hear you now.
Okay, now I know for the future reference.
I took a note for the audio version.
Very good note. That is an hour and 40-something minutes, David.
I got it. The Batman.
I am sorry, Pop. My bad. I didn't mean to drop the C word on here. I'm gonna take this video down and re-edit it with my bleeps, because I thought that this would work.
No,
Annoying.
you failed. The Batman Year One comic, Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli.
Oh, bro, you got the old one.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
you know who Frank Miller is, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I wasn't like.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you got. I'm pretty sure that's one of the earlier year ones.
I think it's the normal like. I think
that's the
standard.
first one. There was another year one that came out.
There's a year one animated like
movie from 2011.
Yeah.
How similar is that to the Frank Miller version? I think it's different, because I think they based the movie on the Grant Morrison year one.
Yeah, that one's not as good. That's not the regular. That's not the good year one.
Well, in that, Gordon. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Let me rephrase. The Grant Morrison version, I'm pretty sure they took the bats in in Arkham Asylum, that sequence. I think they pulled that from that version of year one.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the Batman is being loosely like compared to the Frank Miller Batman Year One comic book. So that's really exciting for the Batman film, which is another origin movie for the Batman, which is funny. We're talking about this one, and it'll be interesting to compare those two once we get there. So Thomas,
That's my birthday.
that hopefully.
They don't. Yeah.
I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm done.
Now I'm just saying.
Sorry. I'm sure it will be, Thomas. I'm sure it will be. So, Thomas, final thoughts. Batman Begins. Let's get excited for Dark Knight. That's my really big thought. I really enjoyed this film.
I already know where this ranks. 100%.
2 for you, right?
Yeah, I already know my ranking. It's 213. It's 213. I already know that's my ranking.
This may be last for me. I like The Dark Knight Rises. I have to rewatch it, obviously, but we'll see.
The Dark Knight Rises too, but it has the same issue that this has.
Yeah.
And it's like the third act is weak to me, but the beginning of this movie is better than the beginning of that movie. So yeah. I think that's
Maybe.
To me. And I could be wrong. We'll find out when we get to Dark Knight Rises, but I do think that this is my second favorite, because we all know the Dark Knight's up there. I love a good Joker.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, come on. All right, everyone. This movie has great quotes, great music. It begins the Nolan trilogy. It sets us up so well for the Dark Knight, like I've said over and over again. Can't wait for next week. Be sure, everyone, to go vote for our next trilogy of trilogies in the tournament of trilogies. Right now, you can go vote on the right side of our bracket, Jurassic Park trilogy versus the OG Star Wars trilogy. Of course, the original, A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. Go vote on our Facebook page, Lights Thunder Action Show. Please go vote there. And then the following week, we'll have our head-to-head matchup deciding our next trilogy of trilogies. Thank you so much, everyone watching. I hope you guys enjoy our chats about all the news and all of these fun trilogy of trilogies. We sure do enjoy it. Thomas, heading out. What do you have to say, brother? Didn't you want to plug?
We have a lot to plug, but we haven't gotten to the closing section. Are you? Oh, you're in closing now. Sorry, I shared the link.
Grooving, brother.
You're killing it, bro. I love it. I just shared the link for the voting in the comments here. Everything he just said, social media. That's where we're at. Sorry, you get behind the scenes now. We're at the social media point. David, where can everyone find you on the interwebs?
Yes, so you can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram, and David Thompson with 2 A's in the David on Twitter. Thomas, what about you? You can find me at Thomas Carter Rochester -actor on Facebook, at Thomas Carter Rochester, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces on Instagram, at Thor Son of Dale on TikTok. I need to really just get off my butt and make some TikToks, I guess. I stopped making them, but I enjoy TikTok a little bit. I'm kind of over TikTok though, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was over it after 2 seconds. At TC Rochester Act on Twitter. That is TC Rochester ACT on the Twitter. And you can find all of my acting reels, as well as Thor Watches the Mandalorian, Thor Talks 2 on Life of Thor on YouTube. You may not find it with just Life of Thor's, but if you search Thor Watches the Mandalorian, you will very much indeed find it. Did we skip questions? I think we accidentally skipped questions. I do, before we move on to the next bit.
We did if we had it.
I've got a good question here from Willow. Should we move away from seeing Bruce Wayne's parents die for the next Batman film? Is it just as overdone as seeing Uncle Ben get killed? Or is it important to the story? Yes, and also yes. It is important to the story, but I don't think we have to see it. I think it just has to be referenced. The pearls falling, seeing a sad young Batman would be good enough. I have this very strong feeling, because Matt Reeves doesn't really mess around with origin stories. I think it's just going to be referenced here or there. At this point, everyone knows who Batman is. So rehashing it is kind of stupid.
The way I view it, and the way I think they'll probably go about it in this sense with the Batman with Robert Pattinson, is similar to 2016 Civil War, Captain America Civil War, where Tom Holland, we know Uncle Ben's dead.
Yep.
Oh, he is not really referenced to. There's a quick line that Peter says about bad things happen when you can do them, but you don't. And that, in my mind, that was a reference to Uncle Ben dying. But we don't.
Same.
For me as a fan, that's a Spider-Man fan, I got that. Most people in the theater wouldn't get that, and you didn't have to watch. In this new Spider-Man, universe, we're not going to be able to. You're not going to see Uncle Ben. He's never referenced to. And I think that's the way they might go with the Batman. They don't have to show it; they can reference it, and it could be as subtle as that, or a little more. Because I think that's a little more prudent to the story in Batman than it is to Spider-Man, especially when you're in a shared universe like Spider-Man is. Well, this is an origin story to some degree. It's at least like it's its own universe, the Batman. So anyway, good question. I hope we don't see a scene like we get it unless it's like a point of the movie that we need to have. But I doubt they'll do that just because it's been so, like I said, 4 live action films have shown it. Like a full scene of it, So I doubt it, but we'll see. Yes,
I'm just scrolling through the comments here. Terry McIver said, still waiting on a Chris Nolan Nightwing trilogy. I'm not. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not, because he's probably gonna do something with Dick Grayson that's really gonna piss me off, and I'm not gonna be a fan. And I love Chris Nolan, but Dick Grayson is my favorite DC character of all time. Don't mess with the dick. That came out so much worse than I meant.
Thomas, you're on a roll tonight.
I'm on a roll, man. This is what happens when you're just grinding day in and day out. Let's see. Alfred Pennyworth. I saw this earlier, and I think it's amazing. Pop's not the one you need to worry about. Your mom's watching. She's heard worse. So my mom has said worse. The Dark Knight Rises was the worst of the trilogy. Mom says we're great. She was fun to Saturday evenings. Me too. Human beings are capable of great feats, both good and bad. Man, we got to get better on popping comments in here and everywhere. Mom just said, about me hearing worse and saying worse. The Batman should be a continuation from Joker, since in the end of that movie, we already saw the Waynes die. really quick on the Batman, based on what we've seen so far, it looks timeless. It looks like it, what was Joker, 70s, 80s?
Yeah, like 80s, I think.
80s. I feel like this could be set, 20, 25 years, about 20, we'll call it 20 years after, because Robert Pattinson's a couple years older than I am. So we'll say 20 years after. So, early 2000s, potential. There's potential there.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think it will, but there is mathematical potential. Now, back to social media, back to the plot. You can find our social medias for Lights Thunder Action on Facebook right here at the Lights Thunder Action Show. YouTube, you can find us at HWWS WebTV, and then on Twitter, you can find us at LTA Podcasting. You might have noticed a slight rebrand we did. We are no longer Lights Thunder Action Podcast because we've blown up and grown up into a show. So
we still call it a podcast all the time, but it is a show.
It's a show.
I would say our intention with that is that, like, this, for all intents and purposes, it's a live show that we do. I mean, the podcast is more of like, you can go get it if you want it. It's more of just like, it's like it's complimentary.
If you want to listen while driving,
right? Or you can't make the whole thing during the actual time whenever we do, because we are on an irregular schedule most of the time. If you can't catch it, that's fine. But we are a show. I mean, I think the most enjoyable way to take in this content is live here on Facebook or on YouTube, like you guys are right now. And I think it just is more genuine to who we are and what this show really is, because it is a show. And it's also a podcast, but it is a show first and foremost. So, yeah, that's kind of our little tweaks we're making here at Lights Thunder Action.
We're basically getting closer to nerd debates. Like, I feel it coming in the next couple weeks, honestly. I thought we were going to have it here, but I was surprised with how much you love this film, but I was also surprised with how much I love this film.
Yeah, I mean, and you act like we don't debate every single podcast about something at some point.
We literally debated this week about a trilogy that we haven't even gotten to.
Wait, what were we talking about?
Captain America.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, David, what do you have to promote this week?
Yeah, guys. So I haven't done an episode in a couple weeks because I've been moving right now. Like, top of the hour, I said, top of the first hour, I said, I moved up here to Gainesville, Florida, working a lot. So I haven't been able to do it lately, but please go subscribe and follow my other podcast, which isn't like this. It is just a podcast where it's just the audio. It is called Double Down Debates. It is a sports debate podcast. You can find that there on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and that's about it for there. But that's where most of the ground is covered with those two. So yeah, go check that out. My other podcast, Double Down Debates. Go check it out there. Thomas, what do you have to promote?
I said two things, but one is like 9 things. Every Friday, I will now be doing a Power Rangers watch along with my pal Christian Ingram. We alternate weeks on my page, weeks on his page. You can find last night's episode on my acting Facebook page, Thomas Carter Rochester, Have an Actor, as well as my YouTube channel, Life of Thor. Eventually, once I go through and edit out any language that might have happened, which, as you know me, might have happened, it'll be up on HWWS, but that time span can be like a day to like a week. It's kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
Every Friday this next week, it'll be on his page. You can find that at the Power Rangers guy on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, all the social medias. Next week we have, I don't think we've decided. Next week we might have a guest on for Power Rangers Watch Along. We're hoping to get a friend of mine who worked on Power Rangers, but stay tuned. Now, the big kahuna, HWWS WebTV, like I said at the top of the first hour. Wow, we went 2 hours again.
Yes, sir.
Naturally. Has a litany of content. What content, you might be asking? Well, Hanging with Web Show is the original program on this channel. And throughout the last few years, they've added Reels and Heels, Saturday morning cartoons, The Legend of the Traveling Tardis, The Maine Event, Hennessy Williams Experience, The Nerds United Show, Back Talk with Bauer, and including an indie music radio TV. I did it wrong. An indie music TV playlist where you can go watch all the songs that play on the HWWS Indie Media Terry, help me out, man. Help me out. I know you're here. I always mess this part up. Indie music radio. There it is. Thank you, Terry. I heard you yelling at me from Ireland. And they have all the videos from those artists are in that playlist that have, videos. That was the end of that part. Oh, you know what? You can listen to the song Mental Health that played earlier exclusively either here on this situation or on HWWS Indie Music Radio. Really hard to say. As well as Toilet Paper Jesus. You can find them on Facebook. There's also an Amazon Echo Alexa technology wiretap. I don't really know what it is. It's a wiretap. The wiretap of Amazon. You can add that channel, so then you just be like, hey, Amazon wiretap, play Indie Music Radio, and they'll play it. You can also request songs. You can request my song. That is the end of that shameful plug. Thank you so much for tuning in. What was that?
I said, request it, guys. Request it.
Yes, please request it, because I would love for one of my songs that I don't have an opinion for. I don't really like my own stuff, but that's okay. I'm just really judgmental of my own critiques and angles. It would be great to crack the top 10 just once. But, I have some good music coming out soon, by the way. That's not even a plug. That's just like facts, bro. I recorded that thing last night, David, that I've been sending you out throughout the week.
Looking forward to it.
I might have to rewrite the beginning because the beginning ain't good enough for the end. Like it rises. The Dark Knight rises.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning in to the 16th episode of Lights, Thunder, Action. We'll catch you next week. We love you. And
thanks, everyone.
Bye.